strengthen, and we aim to encourage, empower, restore, strengthen, and trust in divine power to navigate life. Join Marlene and Michelle for Inspirational Mondays. Join Marlene and Michelle for Inspirational Mondays.
Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, good day, wherever you are at this time. Right now, it's 6:01 p.m. here in the Bahamas, where I am. And I am just so happy to be able to come to you wherever you are, whatever you're doing. Hopefully, you're not about to touch that YouTube, that Facebook, whatever dial you're on. Lock it in. I promise you, today is going to be a program you don't want to miss. I am meeting for the first time, Michelle, a wonderful young man that I've been hearing about for exactly 17 years. That's right. 17 years ago, a young man came to my home and told me about this young man. I'm going to take him off our screen for just a minute because I don't want you to get, I don't want to, let's take him off. Bye. See you later. That pretty face, a beautiful smile. We're going to add him later. Michelle, we have a wonderful young man in our audience, on our platform today. And I have a quote that I want to share that I think goes well with today's program. It's running across the screen. You know what it says? It says, let's go to the banner. Something better is the watchword of education, the law of all true living. Whatever Christ asks us to renounce, he offers in its stead something better. Would you believe it? It's about the same time, 16, I don't know, 15 years ago, around there. I don't remember exactly when, that I decided I wanted to name my ministry something better. And then I came home and I did. But this young man, he had preempted me. He had his name already out as something better. I had come across this beautiful quote by Spirit of Prophecy, Ellen White. And I said, wow, that's what God's asking for us today. He wants us to renounce those things that are not good for us, get rid of those things that are not great for us, just rid of them altogether, and he will put in its stead something better. Our guests, I'm telling you, I know that you're going to be so encouraged, so motivated. A man that's definitely never gave up. A man that, I'm going to just save the rest. He was what I call it determination. I went on a binge today, Michelle, and I watched everything chew. Everything chew.
So he gave you a lot to chew on, eh?
He gave me lots to chew on. So welcome. Where are you watching us from? Will you do me a favor,
yes.
Crystal and whoever else is on? Will you do me a favor and share this link? I'm on here saying hello to you, and I can't share because my head will be down. I want to see you. Will you share the link with someone? Please. I thank you so much ahead of time for doing that. I don't know if Michelle want to say welcome while I pull up the bio and then I can read it out to our guests. Want to do that for me, Michelle? Just say welcome.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to our Inspirational Monday. Thank you for joining us. I know it's been bad weather for a lot of us, including myself, but praise God, we're here. My electricity came back half an hour before this program. So can you imagine? We were cutting it close. So I'm giving thanks. I'm so excited that we're here. And I know that you are in for a wonderful treat. I'm going to save the rest, the introduction from Marlene. She's coming. But in the meantime, I want for you to get some water, some nice water, pure water. Sit back, relax, and get ready to receive inspiration, encouragement, motivation. And this gentleman is going to show you that you should never, ever, ever give up on your dream. Because sometimes you're just about to reach a breakthrough when you're deciding to because sometimes it gets really difficult and it gets really stressful. But don't give up. Don't give up. I want to save the rest that I have to say for the introduction, Marlene, and for Chef Chu.
Why don't you just go ahead and welcome our guest? I see Jesus. Hello. Hello. Hello.
Oh,
That's
yes.
Jamaica, correct?
Uh,
Jamaica's in the house.
Jamaica's in the house. Thank you.
Apropos in the house. Apropos.
Bahamas in the house.
Dr. Cornish, how you doing, babes? How was your day? Oh my goodness, we have Africa in the house. Right?
Wonderful.
All right. I mean,
So, yeah.
Boniface was asking all day, what time? What time?
What
What
time?
time?
Thank you. Thank you, shared Boniface. Thank you. Thank you.
Shanna from Jamaica. Thank you guys.
Nice.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Will you
Thank
just do us just do one favor? That's all I'm asking. Can you hit the share button? Share. That's all I'm asking. How easy
Yes.
is that? Because I'm getting ready to introduce you to our exciting guest. And we
Yes.
don't want to take no more of his time because he has that much to share with you. You know, just when Michelle was about to step out of her doors, I was literally on the phone with her. And she said,
Yes.
I'm leaving to go and get to
Go to
another
another-
location where I can get some internet. Listen
Yeah.
to me. Listen. Listen to how good God is. God said, nope. He was testing you
Yeah.
many times in life, many times in
Yes.
life. I dare to say many times. You may be going through it right time. Right now, you may be like, wow, I want to. And then something happens and you're like, oh, well, no worries. I ain't doing that no more. But just as she was about to step out of her home, the
Yes.
electricity came out.
Came back.
God tests us that way. That's the test that He puts us through. He wants to see how serious you are about this dream. On my table here, I have a little thing that says, "Follow your dream." I'm going to get it so you guys can see it. Follow it wherever it takes you,
Yes.
even if it means some wooded areas, even if it means some areas with all kinds of briars and oh my goodness, you may get scraped along the way, you may get bruised along the way. Follow it anyhow if you feel God is calling you to do just that. Our guest today,
Yes.
GW Chew. I want to know what that says. What's GW? But anyway, aka Chef Chew is a vegan food inventor. I'm going to add him to our platform now. Let's add him as we're introducing him to our platform. GW, aka Chef Chew, is a vegan food inventor and entrepreneur for over 15 years. His mission is to change lives one chew at a time. Oh, I love it. And to bring holistic new solutions to urban communities. He was voted as one of the most influential vegan Black chefs in the United States. Woo! And has been featured in Bloomberg, TED Talks, Veg News, the Fuse Network, and many more news outlets. He started his career as a restaurateur and has had 3 successful vegan restaurants. He recently founded Something Better Foods, which manufactures the Better Chew plant proteins that represent life over death. Hallelujah, hallelujah. Our mission is simply to democratize the access of plant-based protein. Communities of color have the highest rate of chronic disease and the least amount of access to healthy, nutritious meals. And isn't that true today? Better Chew is driven to provide delicious plant-based proteins to these undeserved communities so they can have a solution that closely replicates the taste, texture, and appearance of meat without the negative health effects associated with the overconsumption of meat. Our product lines, our products allow customers to be fearless in replicating dishes that are ethnically relevant to their experience and facilitate the adoption of a plant-based diet. Better Chew was launched in Whole Foods Market. Yay! I should have my applause. Woo! I'll do it for you. I can't hear you guys, but I know y'all can hear me. I love to scream. I'd be shouting all day. Let me read that again. I want to read it again. Hello. You heard that? Better Chew was launched in Whole Foods Market in 2019, and this was Something Better Foods' first major grocery store contract. This opportunity has given us the confidence to become one of the few Black manufacturers in the plant-based industry.
Wow.
Oh, yeah. We hope to be the catalyst that inspires the next generation of Black food scientists, engineers, and inventors to create, build, execute, and fight for their dreams. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you Chew.
True.
Come on.
No, welcome, welcome to our show. We're so happy you're here and you're joining us. For Inspirational Monday, my first question is, what does GW stand for?
Yes. What
And
does
Well, that's a great question. I'm happy to be here. It's such an honor to be with you all. You all are pioneers as well, and just women that have, like to say, mothers that have just fed us boys like me. Fed us all that good food over the years, and just sharing the love and just healthy food. And so it's an honor to be in this conversation with you all. But I was actually adopted at birth, believe it or not, and my family it's a black family in Maryland. It was the southern part of Maryland. We was country folk. My father literally was still sharecropping when I was adopted, when I was born. And my father's name was Granwell Wayman Chew. And so it was Granwell Wayman Chew. So the Granwell, the G, the W, Wayman. His last name was Chew. And it was kind of ironic because, you don't meet a lot of black people that have the last name Chew. And so, but long story short, my father did not like his name. And they didn't want to make me a junior. So they took his first and middle name and made that as my real name, the initials of his name. So that's how GW that's how that came together. So that was my mother always teased me and said I was all mad. I said I want a different name. I wanted Brian or whatever the name I thought was cool. And she said, "Well, you're gonna be while everybody's learning how to spell your name. You're gonna be doing mathematics. You're gonna be doing everything else because you're gonna it's only 2 letters. And you're gonna be ahead of everybody in your class." And so she always teased me with saying that to me when I was a kid. So, but yeah, that's my name. It's 2 letters, capital G, capital W, no spaces, no periods.
Interesting, very interesting. Yeah. Wow. So you are a food inventor, a vegan food inventor, and an entrepreneur now for 15 years. What was your inspiration that led you to this path? What inspired you?
Yeah, like I shared how I grew up in the South, in the top of the South, and again, I came from a family. My father's family for sure was a heavy meat eating family. I mean, we ate everything: fried chicken, ribs, pork chops, ham, squirrel. My father would sit in the window and shoot squirrels in the window.
squirrel?
Oh yeah, squirrel. Yeah, squirrel. He also is interesting. I always tease and say I missed possum by 10 years. I ain't eat no possum, but they ate possum and muskrat. I mean, that was the kind of experience that my father's family did. My mother's side of the family, ironically, happened to be Seventh Adventist. My mother was not practicing Seventh Adventist when I was born, but she pretty much, by the time I was in 3rd or 4th grade, I would go to my uncle's and my aunt's house who were Seventh Adventists, and they actually ate vegetarian. So growing up, I got exposed to a lot of meat eating and also vegetarian food on weekends, which was kind of ironic. Again, in my household, we ate anything and everything. But my uncle and my aunt and my another few other family members, they would have these different vegetarian foods. And what was interesting, it tasted good. That was kind of the cool thing about it, because a lot of times it doesn't always taste good. So they made some really good, delicious vegetarian food. By the time I was 12 years old, I stopped eating pork. I stopped eating shellfish, and I started making small transitions as a young person. When I became about 17, 18 years old, what I started realizing, a lot of my family members begin to have lethal diseases, and they literally in their late 40s, early 50s, many of them begin to have cancer and diabetes and heart disease to the point where it became lethal and they begin to die. And so when I was 18 years old, I decided to become 100% vegan. This is 2001. So this is way before it was cool and popular. A lot of people were vegetarians, but not vegan. And so going vegan back then was very, very different. So I became a Seventh Adventist, got exposed to, we call it our health message, and got exposed to healthy lifestyle and met a lot of ladies like yourself, some of the older women in Zion, and they had these wonderful recipes, and I got excited about cooking, and I actually took some old cookbooks and started cooking. And as a result of that, I had a passion to replicate the foods that I grew up on. So I had my mother, she had the best mac and cheese you could ever think of, the potato salad. And, I love fried chicken. I ain't gonna lie. I used to eat fried chicken like 4 or 5 times a week. So I wanted to make those same foods that I grew up on in a healthier way. And that kind of led my curiosity. And so I started experimenting, developing, and growing, in this my culinary experience. And I wasn't afraid to just take ingredients and just try out different things. And so I had a very curious mindset. Last thing I say was funny. When I first started cooking vegetarian, I was actually a part of a missionary team, and all of us would actually have the experience to be able to sell our products, not sell our product. We'll make the food for the week for the team. And I've started making granola, my own fresh batch granola. And I called it, and so, everybody else would just cook and they'd make the food for the team and they'd keep it real simple. I started making up all these names. I had, my granola couldn't be regular granola. It was crunchy, bunchy granola. You know what I mean? So I had pleasing pineapple and peachy peach and sensational strawberry and blueberry blast. And, so when I first started creating these foods, I started, making names and innovating and flavors and, and that was it just came natural. It is something I just love to do. And I realized that, that was a passion of mine, creating names and foods and recipes. And God just took that, from that point when I was about 20, 21 years old, 2003, 2004, and it just started there, my journey. And I've been cooking ever since. I ain't stopped then. I ain't stopped cooking ever since.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful. We want to pause and thank everyone for joining us. We're so happy you're here. We are interviewing G.W. Chu. He is an entrepreneur. He is an inventor, a vegan food inventor. And as you just heard, he is very creative in coming up with names for different products. And we're just so happy you're here. If you have any questions for G.W. Chu, write them down in the comments below. Let us hear your feedback. We want to see and tell us where you're from.
We have a comment. Someone says, I'm 58. Is it too late for me?
No, sir. It ain't too late. It ain't too late. Absolutely not.
No. I don't think so. I'm 50.
Whoa.
What am I? 56, 50, whatever. And I don't think it's too late. I'm starting a whole new business right now.
Yes.
So no, I don't ever. My mother was 82 at death, and she was still thinking about doing business.
Wow.
No, you're never too old until you're dead, sweet girl.
Yeah.
When you are in the grave, that's when it's too late. That's what I got to say on that. Yeah. So you have nice teeth too. You gotta read these comments. I'm putting your flawless. Hold on, let's go back. Flawless skin and nice teeth. Amen. Yes, beautiful skin. Yes, indeed. Amen. She says amen. Go ahead, Michelle.
So will you please tell our audience about the line of products that you have? Because you're in Whole Foods. What are the products there? And also give us a little sneak peek on the entire process that you did for manufacturing. And did you have to have your workers? Did they have to sign an NDA?
Yeah. When I like I said, when I came into learning how to cook and getting excited and inventing, I literally started having this vision, and a lot of it came through in our church, the Seventh Adventist Church. It talked a lot about creating food products that would be able to help individuals transition from eating meat, to becoming plant-based. And it was a very big part of our message in our church. And I really was inspired as a young person, when I read that, because I saw the devastation of, the foods that we ate and how it really brought death, especially in my personal family. I lost aunts that were like mothers to me, lost uncles, that I looked up to, and they're dying at 51 years old, just things of that nature. And so when it came, I realized and started understanding that a lot of it was because of our lifestyle, our diet, and so, so when I started developing, I wanted to replace, again, what did my community love? One of them was fried chicken. So I said, if I can make a chicken that look like chicken, taste like chicken, but guess what? It ain't chicken. I can change some lives. And so I had that vision and had that dream, and I started going into the kitchen, experimenting with various types of grains and beans. And I tell you, with over a 4 or 5 year period, the Holy Spirit, God began to really work and really just teach me how to cook these products. And I started learning formulations and processes and understanding some of the science behind, if I did this and how that would react to this. And over literally about a 6 or 7 year period in 2008, I had developed my own texturization process where I was taking non-GMO organic soybeans and different grains, brown rice, garbanzo beans, and literally learning how to take those products and create a very meat-like texture. And that became the beginning really of like, I have something special here. It wasn't just me cooking food. I realized that God was doing something greater. And I really got excited about going into the restaurant industry. And so I started my first restaurant in 2008. And so that's where I kind of started, and I launched, my proteins. At the time, I didn't call it Better Chew. I called it the product Better Chew now. Better texture, better taste, better chew. Back then, I called it Better Than Meat. That was the name of the product back in those days. And so, I launched the product, I had my first restaurant was called Eating to Live. That name, don't live to eat, but eat to live. And so we had a vegan restaurant in my hometown where I grew up at, a little country town called Prince Frederick, Maryland. I had my first vegan restaurant. Then I ended up getting married in Arkansas. My wife was living there, and I got married in Arkansas. I had another vegan restaurant in Arkansas, in a city called Fayetteville, Arkansas. And all along this process, I'm pretty much perfecting the meats that I had created. And so each restaurant, I like to say, the restaurant became kind of like my and almost like my research and development lab, you want to call it, because in a restaurant setting, I'm sure you understand, Millennial, when you look at this, the whole, you get customers every day that taste your product. And they will tell you and let you know if it tastes good or don't taste good. They will write reviews, and you'll get a lot of good feedback, good, bad, the ugly, the bright, the good, whatever. But the good news is I started really perfecting how to utilize that product. And I kept, one thing I always said, I wasn't going to stop improving. Constantly improving became a motto. And so even though I got the first step, I kept wanting to make it better and better and better and better. And I just kept developing. And by the time I ended up moving to Oakland in 2016. And I had an opportunity to start a vegan restaurant in Oakland, California. So we started a really awesome vegan restaurant called the Veg Hub. It was a very successful restaurant. While that was happening, the plant-based industry was going crazy. You guys have seen how when Beyond Meat, Impossible Foods, and all these major companies came into the industry, there was documentaries coming out almost every year, every 6 months, some new documentary about eating healthy, and people were changing their lifestyle. The government was saying that beef or red meat causes cancer, and scientists are backing all of this stuff up. So everybody's in this mindset that we have to, and if we don't stop eating it, the earth is going to self-destruct, so then it became a survival strategy. We got to eat plant-based and eat vegan because of the environmental issues. And so I decided to go and get, and serious about manufacturing. And so I literally started my first, pretty much today what we have, our company was called, same as Something Better Foods. And we have the Something Better Foods, the company. And that was created actually in 2010. It was when the name first was created. I had a restaurant called Something Better. But we kind of honed in on the company, that brand, Something Better Foods. And the goal was to, again, democratize the access of plant-based proteins. I wanted to really create a product that was affordable, that had the texture and taste that people would really enjoy, and would make it ethnically relevant, where communities, not just Black community, but Hispanics and any especially ethnic cultures that are used to eating flavorful foods, and that again, I know you guys from the islands, you guys eat the jerk chicken. They got the beef tip, what they call it, the oxtails. All the folks like that love them oxtails. And so I got a beef product that people use for oxtails, kind of replicate it. So I wanted
You do?
Absolutely. I got a beef. I got a rib. It's amazing. I can probably share my screen later, but I got a rib and a beef. It's insane. It's insane. Yeah, I got
We want.
Yeah. I was going to say there's some questions coming in on our screen. One person wants to know, let's put it up. She says, what about soy? Is there anything about soy that we need to be worrying about?
Well, I just had. I'm starting a meal vegan challenge, 21-day vegan challenge, and that was a big question that came up from one of my customers. And what I always tell people is that when it comes to soy, there's a lot of misinformation about soy. A lot of it is really about the estrogen in soy. Now, let's understand this. Number one, soy is, all soy is not equal. So firstly, most of the soy that is grown around the world is genetically modified soy. And so, we have to understand that most of the soy that is being utilized for food is for animal feed. So majority of the soy that's being grown is actually used as an animal feed, and it's genetically modified soy. that if people are eating, some people say, well, I don't want to eat soy, but they eat chicken or they eat beef and things of that nature. But the cows are eating the GMO soy, the chickens are eating the GMO soy. And so if you don't eat soy, you probably don't want to eat no chickens and beef either, because that's what their main source of protein is.
Right.
But typically in the plant-based world or in soy milks, all of them are typically non-GMO. Tofu is typically non-GMO. Many of us organic. That's what we use, non-GMO organic soybeans. And soy has something called phytoestrogens, which is similar to estrogen, but it's not the same exact thing as estrogen. It actually does something almost directly opposite. It actually helps regulate estrogen within the body, and sometimes it can inhibit the growth of estrogen. And there's so many studies. The Physicians Committee of Responsible Medicine did a study on soy, and it talked about women that had fibroids, and they actually consumed a diet that was high in soy, and their fibroids and their female related diseases that were based on this hormonal issues, they actually improved. And so there's a lot of myths about soy, and so I always say, obviously do it in moderation. You don't want to eat any type of protein source as being the only. You want to mix. There's so many types of beans. I mean, it's so many different types of grains, of complete protein grains. I mean, so soy is a powerful. I like, it's a gift from God, in my opinion, when it's used, and it's not genetically modified. I think it's a gift from the Lord that God gave us to help us to get off of meat, and I think it's a great bean when used properly. So I would say research it, but soy is definitely is great, and there's so many studies. The China study by Dr. Colin Campbell, he did a lot of research on that, and so there's so much out there. So yeah,
we all agree.
We agree. We definitely agree. Most definitely. The next question I think was on, but she had another question. Another lady had a question saying that she wanted to know what other plant we can use besides cauliflower. We did cauliflower wings today. For cauliflower wings. So what else can we use? Paula wants to know, what can we use for other than cauliflower?
For what's the
question? Like a cauliflower wing, you can use Brussels sprouts. You can use
absolutely.
You can use
eggplant, zucchini.
Really nice.
All of those, do any of those recipes. Yeah, absolutely.
Same recipe. You can use the exact ingredients. It's very good. Our next question is: there's a lot of talk about soy and gluten-free products. Why?
Yeah, so again, what you'll find in the health world is that there's always, and so gluten-free is very different than soy, but gluten-free, obviously, a lot of people came down with celiac disease. A lot of the wheat in this country and around the world has been hybridized. Yes. And so what you'll find in the last 10, 15, almost 20 years, there's a lot of individuals that started having digestive issues as related to wheat. And a lot of that came through, again, they begin to hybridize the wheat, meaning that they begin to, mix grains and kind of develop new strains of wheat to be able to be more drought resistant, or, be able to not to be able to accept certain type of herbicides or fungicides. And as a result of that, it started messing with the protein structure of the actual wheat. Which in turn, made it harder to digest for some individuals. And so what you'll find is that people did begin to have allergic reactions, whether it's celiac disease or not being able to have gluten as much. They would have allergies. And so there's definitely has been, people that have had those challenges. And so gluten-free obviously has become a fad to a certain degree, but sometimes for some people it's necessary. So some people can't eat it, and some people just simply do it because there's some thoughts behind, this not eating wheat or grains, which I don't really agree with that personally. But again, it's not easy. Gluten-free is not an easy lifestyle, to be honest with you, because going without wheat and different flours that have, gluten in it is a very difficult transition. So I would like to say, do it. I would do it only if you had to. If you didn't have to, I would definitely, try to get healthier versions of wheat. And, but it's not an easy transition. But, we just talked about soy, but, and sometimes I say lastly, there's a lot of fads in the health world, meaning that, next week it's going to be some superfood that's going to change your world. It's going to make you live to 120, and so there's always going to be that in the health world because it is a business. And so there's going to always be, this isn't good and this is so much better, and it's going to be something that really is still good, but they're going to tell you that it's not good just because they're trying to uplift another product. And so that's also a big part of the health industry that you just got to also watch as well.
Two more comments. I'm going to let Michelle take it away. One person wants to know how we're going to get it in the Bahamas, and she's in Abaco, one of our islands. That's right,
That's
Dr.
one of our questions.
That's one of our questions. We'll wait for you to answer it later. The next one says, I'm excited. This is the same doctor. She says, I'm totally excited as a pediatrician about this and being a pediatrician here. God is going to do something awesome with your products. And so,
Amen. Amen.
so I'll wait for Michelle to ask the other question later on.
Okay.
Okay.
Chef, what were some of your setbacks as you push forward? Was there a time that you felt like quitting? And why didn't you? What
Yeah.
kept you going?
So again, as I shared earlier, the food industry got crazy about plant-based proteins and plant-based products in general. And so I got excited about, manufacturing. And the manufacturing business, is where you're literally taking raw materials. In my business, we're taking non-GM organic soybeans, garbanzo beans, brown rice, different ingredients, and we're formulating our own proteins. And we're, literally making the protein, we're packaging it, and we're shipping it all across the country. And it's a lot of work. But one thing about our industry is that it's very expensive. And so, you think about manufacturing, you got to have facilities, you got to have equipment, you got to hire people, you got to have money just to do the business. People don't realize how hard it is to get a product into a grocery store and keep it on the shelf and then expand to thousands of stores. It's not an easy process. It's very expensive. A lot of companies don't survive it. Most 90% of the companies in the grocery business fail just because it's a really difficult business to get off the ground. And so, one of the things I realize is that it's not a lot of people of color that are actually in the grocery business. And in the States, in the U.S., it's really dominated by Caucasians. A lot of white males pretty much dominate the space. And so there's a lot of talk around that in our industry. And so as a result of that, there's a lot of, when I start looking to raise capital and raise money, since there's not a lot of people that look like me, there's a lot of doubt, that a person of color can actually execute and do this. So that's one of the biggest challenges that you have that I've experienced is just straight up racism, honestly. People saying, you don't look like the typical manufacturer. You don't look like a person that can create a product and develop it and create a process and scale it, and so forth. And so there's not, that typically won't ever say it to your face. But, people also show by their actions. And then you hear I have some great advisors, some allies that are Caucasian that, help, at times tell you the conversation behind the conversation. And so you just realize that there's a lot of bias when it comes to people that look like us, creating food products and doing business. So I've dealt with a lot of that. A lot of it also is just finding, it's not been easy to find great people. It's honestly, that's not been easy as well. To work, exactly. Finding great, people that are, it's especially sadly, we did a time where we actually hired a lot of local people from our community, and honestly, a lot of young people, young Black males, and it was very disappointing. Sadly, recognizing a lot of young, at least in my community, I live in an urban area in Vallejo, California, and honestly, a lot of the young men that came to work, it's just they had so much trauma. It's just many of them had so many challenges as young people, and wanting to work and come to work every day on time was difficult for many of them. And so that was a very eye-opening and very disheartening realization, and how much mentorship, education, and training is so much needed for especially our Black males. It's something I have a passion for. And so, that's something that I'm working towards long-term to create a workforce development program, because I thought by giving a person a job and paying them well, that would be good enough. And it wasn't. If you don't have work ethic, if you're hopeless because you just feel like there's nothing for me out here, or not an opportunity for me, you live your life, and then many times, drugs and marijuana and all that type of stuff just rules your life, and it's hard to get people out of that mindset that they have better than that. And so that has been another challenge, a very disheartening challenge that I've had to realize. But, God be praised, we still pressing forward, and we're seeing, God is opening doors as we speak. And that's something that, we're really, God has been providing resources and funding. It hasn't been easy because, like I said, it's in our business. A piece of equipment can cost $60,000 for one piece of equipment, and and that's this begin. That's this entry level equipment. That ain't the big equipment. That's entry level, and so we've spent almost $700,000-800,000 into our manufacturing business. And that's a small investment compared to if you think about massive manufacturers, but it's big to me, that makes sense. And so God is definitely, we've gone through the lowest points to the most, we've been on the mountaintop. We've seen some difficult days that we had to fight through.
Yes. I mean, so many people on the outside looking in would not know all of this. So thank you
Yes.
for sharing. We appreciate it. And I mean, my husband worked in mechanical engineer. So he troubleshoot those machineries and they
Yeah.
would break. So it's going to cost you a lot sometimes to
Oh,
even
man.
fix them when they do
Yeah.
go out. So
Oh,
I
yeah.
understand it's not easy.
Yeah.
Yes. And also what touched me was the fact that you are still trying to help your community. So
Yeah.
tell us more about even the demographic of the people you work with. Tell me, in your community, are they receptive to these alternative, like vegan chicken? Are they receptive to it?
Yeah.
And tell us more about that, because you have that motivation to help, even though sometimes you face challenges in the
Absolutely.
community. You're still wanting to help because you see the trauma, you see the pain, and you're like, okay, I need to find a solution to help. Some people would have given up and said, forget it.
Long
You know?
time. Long time.
Yes. It's on I'll talk, there's different aspects of that question, but one on the health side of things, I had a vegan restaurant, and we sell to vegan restaurants, also as well. But I had a vegan restaurant in Oakland, California, for about 5 years, and it was amazing just to see the impact of providing food products. We had our Better Chew fried chicken, looks like chicken, tastes like chicken, but it ain't chicken. Had our Philly cheese steak sandwiches, and really, really comfort food type products. And people loved it. I mean, I think the key is when people try something that tastes good and they realize that I didn't expect it to taste this delicious, and I can do this. That made such a big difference. That was really the key. And so, we found that in our community, people are just very appreciative of having some options that are actually healthy and delicious. We currently sell to some of the leading plant-based restaurants in the country. One of them is actually in Oakland, California, called the Vegan Mob. It's actually an amazing vegan restaurant. And it's amazing. They actually kind of spin on to the hip hop culture in the Bay Area. And so they get people from all over the country that come out to this restaurant, but we feature our protein. So we make our Better Chew fried chicken, our brisket, and they utilize our proteins in their restaurant on their menu. And we sell hundreds of pounds a week, in that one little restaurant. And we've seen this, amazing. Just people just love the product. So what I realize is that good food, if it's done properly, if it's delicious, it makes a massive impact on people's lives. And people really, really are very appreciative, as when they can get access. And so that became our mission, is that, again, access, again, if you go down, and especially in urban communities or even rural areas where they call them food deserts, and so, we do a lot of work in fighting to provide access to products in places that don't have access to it. So even though we sell in Whole Foods, which kind of features more of a wealthier clientele base, and so forth, our mission is to provide products to communities that don't have access. So right now, what we're doing, we're actually starting another restaurant in our community. It's a food desert community called Vallejo, California. We don't have any plant-based vegan restaurants in the area. There's no like Whole Foods or Trader Joe's or health food stores in our area, in our whole, like literally within 20, 30 miles. And so it's nothing in vicinity. And so we're starting a restaurant that's going to have a grocery store connected to it, a little small grocery store. And we're going to feature our proteins. We're doing, a 21-day kind of vegan food challenges. We just started that literally this tomorrow. We have our first one that we're doing this year. But we're doing these programs, providing healthy but affordable solutions to the community where they can make that transition and have access. And so that's what we're doing as it relates to really trying to make impact in the communities that I believe needs it the most, and that's communities of color, especially as we have high rates of diabetes, high rates of disease, and wanting to really provide a solution that's affordable and delicious, and that's what we're doing. So really, 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 that's a big part of our mission right now.
Thank you. Thank you. Any more questions, Marlene, before I go on? Anyone? Or any comments?
Sorry about that. No, everyone's just saying they're enjoying the program. I'm getting messages on my phone. I think
nice.
that what he's doing is just awesome, especially.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's awesome. And I
Yeah.
know that it must be challenging. I've been in business for 8 years. Well, I've been working for the Lord for 23 years, but I've been in, I guess I have a small vegetarian deli for the past 8 years. And the ups and downs and I was listening to some of I actually did a binge watching today. I was watching some of your programs, and I was very encouraged on one point that you said, because what you said was something similar to what I wanted to get started, which was it was vacation with a purpose, where people would come to the Bahamas, and while they're here, they get to work along with me and learn what we're doing. Plus, they get to vacation here in the most beautiful country in the world, which is the Bahamas. So I have had 3 persons that came through, one from the United States to do that, one from another country. So I've had one girl that came for 6 weeks because she wanted to take the same concept back to her country. I have had many who have asked about it. Then COVID came along and squashed that. So I admire your zeal. I admire your tenacity. I admire your determination. I mean, I promised I was going to get my little thing. You are just following this dream. You're not I didn't like. It's almost as though that dream is going to take you wherever, and you're just following it. And I love that so much, because so often we give up. We give up just before the brink of winning. We give up just before, like, oh my goodness, we give up and we don't realize just when I gave up was just when God was about to come through for me. And so I just wanted to interject that I am very proud of you. And I'm proud to say that you're my brother. Hello, you're my brother, and I'm encouraging you to continue. I know that their challenges haven't stopped, not because you're in Whole Foods it has stopped, but my sister Beverly says keep following your dreams. Awesome stuff. So many needs this information. That's why I'm asking right now if you can do me a favor. There are so many people right now who are listening and who should be listening, and I'm asking you, share the link. Let's take that number from 29 to 129, because let me tell you why. There are so many people who are so discouraged right now. COVID has squashed their business. Family matters has squashed their business. All kinds of things are happening in their lives, and they are feeling so defeated. They're feeling like the underdog. So I'm asking you, do me the favor of sharing the link. We have something for you to chew on. We've got in the house Mr. Chew himself. So please listen as Michelle continues to interview with Chew.
Yes, yes. Amazing. I've been following Mr. Chew's journey for probably 17 years as well. And every step, and seen you reinvent yourself, in a sense. You can do one business, okay, then you turn into another business until you're now at manufacturing, and you make things that seem impossible possible. But I know God is behind it, and I believe also that your determination is a lesson for all of us not to give up. So we now are asking you, when are you gonna, because I'm living in a food desert. I do have a Whole Foods 35 minutes away, but the actual town, we want your products to become enter for the entire nation and abroad. So what is next on the agenda? How are you going to make that happen?
Because some people are asking, are you shipping them throughout the United States? Ms. Anderson or Mr. Anderson is asking, can we order them and can you ship them to us?
So the good news is that we actually, that was our last big accomplishment. Thank God. We actually have nationwide shipping. So we can ship anywhere in the U.S. currently. Sadly, we can't go to the Bahamas yet, but we are shipping to all 50 states within the U.S. And so, you can go to Eat Better Chew. So Eat, EATBETTERCHEW.com.
Let me get a banner going. Hold on. Let me create that. Create a banner.
Yeah, so you can
So it's
go
eat.
eat better chew. So
Is that
betterchew.com.
one word? Eat
All
better
one word.
choose.
Betterchew.com. Yep.
.com.
So you can go there, and if you order today, you probably get it this week. I mean, so
Oh
we're
wow.
stocked up, and we can ship anywhere in the country, and so that makes it very accessible, and the prices are good, and so that's one option that we currently have. We are also working with a number of grocery retailers, right now, and then looking to get our product more in other stores. So we,
Wonderful.
pray for us on that. I had a great opportunity last week. Well, 2 weeks ago, I was able to. I got a privilege to speak at the headquarters of Whole Foods,
Nice.
and I was a keynote speaker, and I told my story to their entire leadership team of 1,200 people. I met the founder and CEO of
Wow.
Whole Foods, John Mackey, and he was in the front row listening to my story, and God does, he does these amazing things, where I get to share my story in these large platforms. But as a result of that, we're literally working with the head of culinary right now. They're going to be testing our product and seeing if they can bring our product to the hot food bar at
Amen.
Whole Foods. And so we're working on seeing what God can do for that. And so pray for us. Pray that when they
Yeah.
get this product this week, they're going to be getting the samples this week. Literally,
Oh
the
wow.
head chef that runs all of Whole Foods is going to be tasting the product, and that God will just wow them, and we can get this because you need contracts to help build businesses. As you get contracts, it helps you to get more funding, helps you to be able to do more things. So this would be significant for us. Right now, we're talking to Sam's Club, believe it or not. So we're working with Sam's Club and trying to get product into Sam's Club, and so we got a few different things that we're working through. But beyond that, I think our biggest, thing that we're working on is again in local communities. So there's individuals that maybe have a small health food store. If you're open to maybe becoming a distributor, so Marlene and we can talk about how to get it to the Bahamas. We can
Yeah.
get an order that's big enough, and
Let's
we
do
can
that.
ship. So we might be able to figure out a way to make it happen. We're working with a distributor that sells to Puerto Rico. And so they distribute to Puerto Rico. So I'm not sure if there's a connection between what he's distributing, and he might go to the Bahamas. So he does, shipments every day from Florida to Puerto
Oh wow.
Rico and different places. So it might be a connection that we can kind of tap into. And
Mhm.
so, what I would say, I know you guys mentioned a lot about not giving up on your dreams, and that's really been the whole, like everything I'm sharing with you. I mean, like you said, we had COVID hit, and we was about to ship. We was ready to ship about 2 years ago, a year and a half ago, and then when COVID hit, we couldn't ship because there was no two-day shipping guaranteed, and only the bigger companies that had these contracts with the FedExes and the UPSs could actually do it. And so we pretty much was back of the line, so we couldn't ship, and we had everything in place, had the website ready to go, and it shut down. And so we got delayed for almost a year and a half of getting that dream off the ground. But what I've learned is that when you start a business with God, God makes Himself responsible for the results of your business. So
Amen.
it's like we're a co-laborer with God. God is our business partner, and
Yes.
so
Amen.
when we realize that, yes, there might be, as one writer says, apparent failure. I had to shut down a restaurant, but I don't consider it not being a success because I had to shut down the restaurant. That restaurant was a catalyst for my next restaurant. I had to learn those hard lessons. I had to learn some more information about business and how to manage the finances, how to do things more strategic. So that experience was nothing but a catalyst for my next experience.
Yeah.
And so, a shut door today is an open door tomorrow.
Amen.
And so I've seen God where that doors, and what I found is that a lot of times the doors that were shut that I thought should have been open, they were shut for a reason, because God saw that was not the best door, or God is also working on my character. And so a lot of the lessons and the closed doors and the disappointments and the challenges, at the end of the day, I always tease people. I say, I make veggie meat. I make chicken look like chicken, beef that look like beef ain't beef. I make fish that look like fish, it ain't fish, rib look like ribs. I said, but the reality is, ain't none of that gonna be in heaven. When we get to heaven, we ain't gonna have no fake ribs. And the chicken ain't one you make no fake chicken. Talking about look like chicken when I get to heaven. That's gonna be a lost memory. I'm not gonna even know what that statement is no more. Because the chicken don't want to be able to live in peace without us having fake chicken that look like chicken, but it ain't chicken. So I always say, at the end of the day, none of this is gonna go to heaven with us. And so
None.
is utilizing. He uses the dreams, the businesses, the aspirations to teach us about our lives, about ourselves, about how not to give up, or how sometimes that you got to go through disappointment. Sometimes disappointment is challenging, but it's healthy because it helps us to get new perspective. It helps us to learn some lessons in life, and so sometimes it's hard to see that, but it's sometimes it's so important because it's a bigger picture that God sees. When it comes to what we're doing in our lives. So yeah.
Beautiful. Well said.
That scripture's on the screen, Michelle, the one that really reminded me of what he said when he said he was placed before great men. So, Proverbs 18:16.
Yes.
It says, "A man's gift makes room for him, and bring him before great people, great men." So that's
Beautiful.
all. When you shared your testimony about going before all the, these 1,200 men, the owners or whoever from Whole Foods, God placed you before great men, and
Yep.
but it was your gift that made room for that.
Yeah.
Amen.
And
I
the
just
years of preparation, years.
and the years and years of determination, preparation, because determination means you just keep going, and that's beautiful. You just
Yes.
keep going. Yeah.
Okay. Please tell us about the 21 days vegan challenge.
And put
Tell
it
us
up
more
on the
about
screen.
it.
Yeah. I've done a lot of food challenges, over the years as a chef, and I was really inspired again. I've been doing a lot of manufacturing, making foods and selling the Whole Foods and so forth. But in this last couple of weeks, I've been nudged. God has been nudging me on, really finding a way to make healthy food more affordable and helping people just to become healthy, because a lot of us got that COVID weight, that COVID hit us hard. We got a little weight on us, and a lot of people wanting to transition, don't have the time, but don't have the resources. And so, I made a decision this literally on Wednesday of last week, just to say, I'm going to do this, I'm going to start it, and I'm going to figure this out. And so quickly, my team, myself, we put together this 21-day challenge. And I started calling friends, one of my personal social media, and just said, hey, I need 15 people. Next thing you know, I had 15. That's, I got 20. That's, I got 25. Right now, we got about 30 people that signed up within like 3 days, and said, hey, I want to go on this vegan challenge. I want to eat healthy for 21 days. So we're starting this program as 100% plant-based, whole foods, whole grains. And one of the young men on my team who's actually, he's just started working with us. He went shopping with me today. We bought all the ingredients. We got 12 meals. And I said, when the last time you had this many vegetables in your diet? He was just laughing, and and it's like the good thing is, people are getting so many different options. Every meal is going to be different, fruits and grains and different vegetables that the average person on their own, it's kind of tough to do that. And so what we're doing really is trying to, again, my mission is to change lives one chew at a time. And that's the mission. And so the Better Chew 21-day vegan challenge is really designed for that. And that last thing I said, I had a friend of mine, she's a health coach, and she called me and said, hey, whatever you need, I can support. So she's helping to do a Facebook group. We're going to do a nice little simple group. And we're going to talk about health. And so I want to also partner with you guys in the future. We're going to be doing this every month. And so we want to do cooking demonstrations for people, like just kind of have these small groups. And lastly, we're going to be preparing. So our goal is to ship this to the West Coast. That's our goal. So we're working on perfecting the model. So again, as you talk about in business, for example, this is a small microcosm. I'm doing 20, 30 people. I'm going to do this for the next 3 months. And my goal is to learn the model, learn the process, I'm getting people to get feedback. So I'm iterating on a small scale with the goal of taking it bigger. And I always say, the Bible says, despise not the day of small beginnings.
Yes.
It says, I think it's one of my favorite quotes in the scriptures. It says, Job 8, I believe 8:7 or 8:11, one of the two. It says, though thy beginning was small, yet in thy latter end thou shalt greatly increase. And the idea is, if you perfect the small and you be faithful in that, God can help you to expand that border, expand it, make it bigger. And so right now I want to be faithful and just cooking these good recipes, for these 20, 30 people, and make sure that every bite is delicious and scrumptious and, not too much salt. I want it flavorful. They got to be healthy, got to make sure it's all good. And so that's my purpose right now. I'm leaning on that for the next 3 months and watch God just develop this program. And that's kind of what I've learned over the years is to be not, you don't got to go for the big, even if it's 10 people, be faithful. and watch God do what He do, and that's what I'm doing right now.
I love that.
Wonderful.
That's beautiful. You know, what's interesting about what you're doing is it's very similar to a program that I have running now. Currently in the Bahamas from February, we've been running a wellness and weight loss virtual lifestyle center.
Yeah.
And so I do a cooking demo every Monday and
Got
whenever there's a holiday. So early in the morning, at about at about 6 o'clock, like this morning actually, I did cauliflower wings with the group, you know.
okay.
So yeah, so and this program has been running now since February. Well, January for Michelle and my I've been doing a few select people, and now we have extended it to the world, and we have people as far as Australia. So what you're
Wow.
talking about is, yeah, so we have a nice group, and we have a we have an online support chat.
Amen.
I'll share the video before we close out, but if you would like to do a demo for us, we'd be happy.
Yeah,
All of that
absolutely.
to say, hey, all of that to say, would you like? I know it's a different time zone, but that's a
That,
different.
yeah, that'll be 3 a.m.
But what you can do is you could probably just, you know, do it, record it or whatever, and send it.
Okay.
But it's 3 a.m. in the morning for you, and we can do a Sunday though. We can do a Sunday. We can do a Sunday, and then we can do it later. That way, it can be accommodating for everybody. Yeah, let's
Yeah.
do that. Let's work together. Let's work
Amen.
together. That's why this platform was created. That's the
Yes,
reason
ma'am.
for this platform, so we can really work together for a common good. You
Yes,
know. Yeah.
yes.
That's
Michelle,
Love
I
it.
don't know if you have any other questions. I'm sure our list is
Or
not
I
as.
have probably it's the last question. Um, Chef, I know you have a beautiful family, Tina and the children. I know it's hard sometimes to juggle family and work because I can tell you go. You gotta
yeah,
spend a lot of hours.
yeah.
For people who would want to get into this kind of business or anything, be what would you tell them to encourage them to do it, but how to balance
Yeah.
family and work? What would you say
That,
to them?
that's a great question. And, for many years, I didn't always do that good, honestly. When I had the restaurant in Oakland, that was a very difficult time for my family because I had to drive about almost an hour commute every day, both ways. And it got to a place where I would leave in the morning. I wouldn't see my son when he woke up, wouldn't see him by the time I got home, he'd be asleep. And it became very challenging for my wife. And I didn't, and I, number one, I mean, that having a partner that actually believes in you is very important. That doesn't always happen. Sometimes that can be a challenge, because my wife had to sacrifice some of her time to help me to get my dream off the ground. And hence, now my vision is, and what I'm doing now is pretty much reciprocating that to her.
Oh,
She has a dream that she's doing, and and now she's going to school full time, and so the sacrifices she made allowed us to get to a place financially where she can take and do some things that she wants to do. The kids are a little older, and so again, I think number one, if you are married, it's you got to really pray together with your spouse, and it's not easy always to get two people that have different ideas at times about what they want to do in life and getting everybody on the same page. And so that's number one. And so I think also for me, I had to also, because again, I'm a worker. If I didn't have a Sabbath, I'd probably be dead by now. I'll be honest. So, so my work ethic can sometimes be my curse. And so temperance is something that I have not always been good at, and learning how. But as I've gotten a little older, I don't have the energy, to be honest with you. That's kind of the other side of it. As I get a little older, my energy is not where it used to be as when I was in my 20s and my early 30s. But I also see the importance because your kids grow up so fast. And one thing I realized, if I don't spend that time with my son and especially my son right now, because he's about to be 11, 12. I'm sorry, he's 9, about to be 10, but he's 11, 12 is coming right up the corner, 13, 14. He's about to be a teenager. And so these years are very precious years. And so I kind of made that commitment to really just kind of build a good team. And so having a team, how you and Michelle, you and Marlene, you guys partner together. You need a team. When you're doing these projects like this, it's impossible to do it by yourself. You just really need a team. And so I've been fortunate to get great people in my corner, great people on my team that allows me to be able, so I don't have to do everything, if that makes sense. And it wasn't always like that. So now, like right now, we got a 21-day meal challenge, and I'm on the interview with you guys. And so that means that there's literally a team cooking right now. You know what I mean? And so that's a blessing because typically that wouldn't be the reality. I would have to do this and then nothing will be done. Then I got to go to work tonight and I'm going to be up till 11, 12 o'clock cooking till tomorrow. And so I've been fortunate, and it doesn't always start that way. But I would say if you can strategize when you start new projects and getting a team around you and just creating boundaries and just saying, you know something, it ain't gonna get done today and it's gonna be okay. The end. And so because COVID stopped the world for a whole year and a half and 2 years, and it was what it was. You couldn't do anything about it. And the stuff had to be put on hold. So I'm learning a lesson in life that if stuff doesn't always happen, communicate with that person that you're working that you may have a deadline for, and just be honest. Look, I can't do this. I'm gonna kill myself if I try to get this done, and it's gonna be done at this time. And that's just the end of that. And keep it moving. And so I think that prioritizing ourselves is something that, again, I'm still learning, but it's so important because there's so many people that spend their careers trying to help everybody else, and you end up getting sick with some lethal disease in your 60s and your late 50s, and now you got a cancer, from all the stress of life, and I've seen that happen, and I've been thinking about that. Now it's happening to people that's my age, in their early 40s, getting these type of diseases and coming down with this type of stuff. And so stress can kill us. That's something that I'm realizing, that you just got to create boundaries and this, be willing to say no as well. Say no. The ministry of no is a good thing, and so that's some of the things I'm learning. And I'm kind of, I haven't perfected it, but my wife is a great coach when it comes to that. And I'm very fortunate to have a very good team member with my wife that helps me to kind of think things through better.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Well, we're certainly glad you didn't say no.
We appreciate you coming on. The fact that you have a challenge, I mean, that's stressful in itself, but you came. We are so appreciative of you coming, and I know our audience was blessed beyond measures. I learned so much from you, and things that we could take in all our businesses. We the lessons, and we're gonna keep moving forward. And I hope for us to collaborate in the future, in the near future, and we're ready, Marlene and myself. Yes, so we appreciate it.
Well, that'll be wonderful.
Yeah, I think it'd be beautiful. Yeah, it'd be beautiful. I am of the opinion, Mr. Chu, that we can do virtually anything.
Yeah, I love it. I love it.
Talents used are talents multiplied. Success is not the result of chance or of destiny. It is the outworking of God's own providence, the reward of faith and discretion, of virtue, and what I see here today, persevering effort. The Lord desires us to use every gift we have. And if we do this, we shall have greater gifts to use. He does not supernaturally endow us with the qualifications we lack. But while we use that which we have, He will work with us to increase and strengthen every faculty. What I see here today is someone that the Lord has blessed because He chose to use the one talent. He didn't hide it under a bushel. He didn't bury it. He chose to take that one, and he kept on working at that one. And God says, look, he's perfected it. Let me give him another. And he kept on giving him more and more and more. And I am so humbled to be able to meet with you today. I am so humbled because I see a great man before me. And I see one that will be so busy in the future, he will probably not be able to say yes. I see one that really, as God places you before these great men, that, I pray that the humility will stay the same. Because honestly, I really I see something really big. I see something better in store for you. And I pray that God will continue to richly bless you and your family. A young family is hard. It's difficult. But I would say this, my children are all grown now. And I used to remember I wanted to be in ministry, and Miss Pulley would slow me down. She said, Marlene, your ministry, your first ministry is your family. You slow down. So I say to you, as you have a young family and a beautiful family, take as much time as you can with them, because before you know it, they will be gone. Your children will be all grown and they'll be all gone. I just got a text from my little fella, big fella now. Mommy, I had a busy weekend, but I hope you're well. So I'm just saying to you, so take time for them as much as you can as you build. And may God richly bless you. Thank you so much for stopping by to share your wealth of knowledge about building a business, a pioneer. and for your persevering effort, for not giving up. I've given up so many times. Every day I call Michelle, Michelle, I'm done. And I'm sure you've had those kind of calls with your wife or your friends, but
Yeah.
then the next day I'm back to work. you know, so thank you for encouraging even me. And I know that there are so many who've been encouraged today. The comments are still coming in. Chef Chu, continue to be successful as you build and as you grow, Paula.
Yeah.
So God bless you. God bless you. God bless you. Would you like to put another thrust in for your program? I don't know if
Yeah.
you take anybody else. I'm not sure, but here it
Not,
is.
not right now. This is actually, we close it up today for this challenge. But what you can do if you want to try the product, remember, go to eatbetterchew.com.
Let's find that banner.
Eatbetterchew.com. And like I said, you can get the product anywhere in the U.S. Shipped right to your doorstep. And like I said, that's something that you can do right now today. And also like us on Facebook and Instagram, and just follow our story, and that'll be definitely a blessing.
Amen. So follow him on Instagram and Facebook and wherever else. People go and find him. What's your thing? What's your name on Facebook and Instagram?
Better Chew. It's Better Chew.
Better Chew. Okay. Yeah. When we write that in there, let's do that because you can see it. And you can read. It's Better Chew. That's Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, whoever else. Them all. Better Chew. Go and find him on Better Chew. Start following him and his success. And there we go. I'm trying to put it up. Yeah, there it goes. Better Chew. So just go and find him on Facebook, Instagram, and wherever else. And let's continue to pray for Chew. Yes. The Lord continues to bless his and multiply his talents. That's what I love to say. That was this morning's devotion. And follow your dreams. Follow your dreams. So now I'm going to share with you what's happening with us at Something Better here in the Bahamas. We have been running a virtual lifestyle center. And tomorrow morning, we have a special guest. I wish you were all a member. You would be able to watch and hear and listen and learn from Dr. Luke, who'll be sharing about water. But it's not too late. If you want to sign up, you can do that today. Listen to the information.
With certified.
There we go.
What time is it? Right time to look good and feel good. It's challenge time. Get on board with certified health coach Marlene McKinney. Global $40 weight loss challenge. Enjoy vegan meal plans, clean eating, routine exercise with awesome WhatsApp group support. Get excited. Don't hesitate. Register, forward email address via WhatsApp to 242-535-6293 or Marlene_McKinney at live.com. Don't forget to add your name as it appears on your bank card. What time is it? Life-changing time. Join the challenge. Get on board.
Michelle, I'll give you the last word.
Don't forget, tomorrow, same time, same place, we'll be interviewing Dr. Fadidas from Rwanda. He had escaped the genocide, and he'll be telling us his whole entire story. So be sure to join tomorrow. Same place, same time, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thank you again, Mr. Chu. I've been blessed. Many, many blessings to you. And you've inspired me never, ever to give up. Have faith, trust in God, have faith, and keep putting one foot forward the next. That's it. God bless you guys, and see you on the next live.
We aim to encourage, empower, restore, strengthen and trust in divine power to navigate life. Join Marlene and Michelle for Inspirational Mondays. Join Marlene and Michelle for Inspirational Mondays.